your sound souvenir of world-famous Greenfield Village, where American history comes to life. Founded in 1929 by the late Henry Ford, Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan, is a 200-acre full-scale panorama of American life as our forefathers knew and lived it. In this picturesque and inspiring village are found more than 100 historic buildings, moved from all sections of the country, and restored in every detail to appear as they did a century and more ago. The shops with working craftsmen, the simple cabins, and the elaborate homes all paint a vivid and nostalgic picture of America's full, rich past. We are at the village gatehouse where all tours begin. Here comes our carriage, so let's get started. The low-grade building on the left is the village print shop and bookbindery. All the printing for the village is done here. This is the sound of an 1862 Stillman and Allen steam engine, which powers all the equipment in this building. And here is a printing press, which was in general use about the turn of the century. And that old press is still turning out fine printing for the village. We better hurry. We've timed our visit to Sir John Bennett's jewelry shop exactly right. Remember those two giant effigies, Gog and Magog, who strike different tone bells to announce the time? Well, this building and Gog and Magog are originally from 65 Cheapside Street, London, England. Well, just about time. Let's listen. One of the most inspiring buildings here in the village is the laboratory of Thomas Edison, and more particularly, the second floor of this famous building where we are now. It was here that Edison produced the first practical incandescent lamp and the first phonograph, along with numerous other inventions. Here's a demonstration of the first phonograph by a man who actually worked for Mr. Edison.
Here we have a model of Mr. Edison's phonograph the way he invented it. It was hand-operated. The record was a sheet of tinfoil wrapped around this brass cylinder with a mouthpiece, a diaphragm, and a needle. You would turn it by hand and speak into it first and make your record, and then you would play it back with the same machine.
Hello, hello. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go.
Now, we turn this back to the beginning and play that record over again, and this is the way it sounded.
Hello, hello. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go.
Why build a bridge and then put a roof on it? Well, there have been many explanations for the covered bridge, but the most logical one is that a roof protects the main beams from the weather, and the box-like sides add strength and rigidity to the bridge. Now, the Ackley covered bridge we're coming to originally spanned the Wheeling Creek in Pennsylvania, and now we're going to drive right through the covered bridge. The homes of Greenfield Village range from simple cabins to much more elaborate dwellings, tracing the American home through 3 centuries of development. For the beginning of this story, Greenfield Village has gone back to Old England and has brought from the Cotswold region a cottage group illustrating the homes of our English forefathers in the first half of the 17th century. Remember the sheep at Cotswold Cottage? And the ducks As you approached the neat, white, imposing home overlooking the river, did you hear strains of My Old Kentucky Home, or was it your imagination? Here is the Stephen Foster Memorial Building. Stephen Foster, America's famous folk song composer. In this house are many heirlooms of the Foster family. Oh yes, there above the mantel is the painting of Stephen Foster, who at the age of 14 composed his first song. Well, it sounds like the captain of the Swanee is signaling a landing. Shall we go aboard? All the passengers are aboard the Swanee. The crew have hauled in the lines. There's the captain's signal, and it's full speed ahead. Do you hear the stern paddle wheel churning the water as we move majestically up the river? The era of the stern wheeler is ended, but for a few moments, we're in the last century.